What does family taste like? In your heart, you know it's the best ingredients, the spiciest spices, all prepared with love and care, and always delivered with a friendly smile. That's the Los Pollos Hermanos promise.
Come in and try our new curly fries. We are so sure you'll like them. And if you don't, they're on me.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Binging with Babish, where this week we're taking a look at Los Pollos Hermanos from Breaking Bad. Now you might be wondering what's in this little cup in front of me, and the answer to that question is French. The enticing swirl of French and ranch dressing seen in the magical electromotive test kitchens. I figured this would make for a good curly fried dip, so we'll set that aside because for now we have to make everything. First, into a small mixing bowl, we are combining 15 grams cayenne pepper, 10 grams each Aleppo pepper and ground coriander, and 15 grams of red pepper flakes, which I'm going to powderize by virtue of a spice grinder. Red pepper smoke. Don't breathe this. Seriously, don't breathe it. It hurts your lungs. Add that to the other spices and tiny whisk to combine. Then we're going to set aside about 3 tablespoons of this spice mixture for our curly fries, and the rest we're going to turn into a dry brine for our chicken, so we're going to add about 15 grams of kosher salt. Tiny whisk once again to combine, and then it's time to negotiate our chicken. Now you can fry up whatever pieces of chicken suit your fancy, but I've got a whole one here, so I'm going to follow the 10-piece fried chicken architecture. If you want to see how to break down a chicken like this, click the link in the upper right-hand corner right now. Otherwise, we're loading these up onto a wire rack set in a rim baking sheet and generously sprinkling on all sides with our dry brine mixture. The spices here are very commonly used in Chilean cuisine, the country from which Gustavo Fring is from. What? Anyway, those are getting parked in the fridge uncovered for 4 to 24 hours, during which time we're going to make our batter. Usually chicken is not batter fried, so this took a few tries. The best formulation we ended up with was 100 grams each all-purpose flour and cornstarch, a little optional sprinkle of our spice mixture, 250 grams of water, 30 grams of vodka, and 2 large eggs. The resultant batter should be pretty thin, like a thin pancake batter, because we don't want anything too thick like a tempura. We also don't want the batter to be so thick that we can't retrieve our bags of meth. Both valid reasons. This stuff can be covered and fridged for a couple hours before use, giving us time to make that most elusive of side dishes, curly fries, for which we're going to need this torturous looking instrument, otherwise known as a spiralizer. Once we've locked our skin-on russet into position, we're going to place it over a bowl of boiling water. Make sure that your potato is thoroughly locked into the spiralizer, otherwise you may be subject to antics. Once you get those out of your system and you've got enough boiling water in the bowl to completely submerge the spiralized potatoes, lock it down, spin it up, and let the machine live up to its name as it spiralizes your tater, a process that is as much fun to watch as it is to say. Once complete, you'll be left with some long and curly potatoes and this sort of potato mushroom thing, which is probably perfect for some kind of potato mushroom based prank. I'm going to make one more potato subject to spiralization and then press everybody down into the boiling water, making sure that everyone is submerged. Then I'm going to let these guys sit for 15 minutes. This is both going to par cook the potatoes and rinse off a lot of the excess starch so they do not discolor. Once drained, we're going to sandwich them betwixt paper towels and pat them as dry as possible. Once everybody's nice and dry, it's time to grab some scissors and do a little manscaping. We need to reduce these down to short and curlies. You don't want them too long, but you don't want them too short either. Even these really straight ones are going to curl up in the frying oil. Once our shoestring squiggles are snipped, go ahead and place them back on the baking sheet, cover them with a paper towel, and then we need to make a batter for our fries. This is a batter fried meal. Into a large bowl goes 15 grams of paprika, 60 grams of all-purpose flour, 15 grams of cayenne pepper, and 6 grams of onion powder. I'm also going to add a little bit of salt, not too much because we're going to salt these fries once they're done cooking, and our reserved spice blend from the chicken. Tiny whisk until thoroughly combined, and then it's time to add just enough water to make a very thin batter. For me, that was about 150 grams, but your mileage may vary. You want it to be just a little thinner than, like, paint. We just want this to form a light, ethereal, crispy layer on the outside of our fries. Once you've got the right consistency, it's time to add the potatoes and give them a toss. Then, once thoroughly and evenly coated in the batter, it's time finally to head over to the stovetop, where in a cast iron skillet I've got a quart of peanut oil that I'm going to heat to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, just like any other right-minded human being, deep frying at home scares the shit out of me. As it should, hot frying oil is very, very dangerous. So gently and slowly lower your fries into the oil, trying to spread them out into an even layer. Fry for about 2 to 5 minutes until they're a deep reddish brown and beautifully crisp. Then we're taking them out and draining them on a paper towel lined baking sheet, which should help keep them crisp. and just like virtually any fried food, generously seasoning with kosher salt while still warm. Now, my spiralizer cut these a little thin, so they didn't have the same body and robustness as your typical fast food curly fry, but they were still really, really good, thin and crisp and spicy and salty, a better curly fry than I ever thought could be available outside of Mother Arby's. Now that we got our fries all fried up, it's time to do the same to our chicken, which we're going to reinforce with a little bit of flour that we're going to dunk the chicken in first before giving it its bath in the batter. This is both going to help the batter adhere to the chicken and prevent it from splitting in the ripping hot fry oil, because as soon as it's coated in batter, it's headed over to a 375°F vat of death. You need to fry this chicken in a lot of oil, otherwise the batter is going to scorch if it spends too long on the bottom of the pan. So gently lower the pieces into your hot tub of doom and then let them fry for anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes, depending on the size of the piece. You'll know it's done when it's a beautiful golden brown and your dark meat registers 175 to 185°F and your white meat registers 165. Try to give them a turn every minute or so to make sure that nobody's scorching on the bottom of the pot. Drain on paper towels and we're finally ready to serve our batter-dunked deep fried dinner. I'm just going to plate myself up a generous curly fry and 3-piece combo, and there you have it. Pollos Hermanos, chicken marinated in Chilean spices and then batter fried, a most unusual method for preparing fried chicken. And while the fries are great, the chicken has its pros and cons. Pros are, thanks to the cornstarch and the vodka, it is shatteringly crisp, and as you're about to see in my embarrassing first bite, it is extraordinarily juicy. The batter forms almost a watertight seal around the chicken so that no moisture can escape, but on the con side of things, it is extremely finicky and fragile when frying, and if you crack the shell in the early stages of cooking, you're in for a big sputtery scary mess. So I reluctantly have to recommend the old-fashioned flour and egg dance. But something I can wholeheartedly recommend are these fries. And the French was good, but I really wanted to try that green Cajun kick-ass stuff. Guess we'll save that for the tater tots episode.